The topic of immigration remains extremely controversial. For many years now, I've been in this country for 33 years. I'm not trying to sound like Julio Iglesias on purpose. Like many people came into this country looking for the American dream, but today the topic remains just as controversial as it was many years ago. Welcome to the Daily Crossing. My name is Marvin Del Valle. We actually want to invite you to explore some ideas. You'll make up your own decisions about what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. We're just going to give you some different perspectives as we go through the process. So let me go back to what I was saying to you right now. About 33 years ago, I actually made the journey to come into this country. Like many other people, in my case, it was also a journey when I was 18 years old. I didn't know exactly which direction things were going to happen. But today what I want to share with you is there's a question that everybody's always asking me. Why is it that immigrants come here and they actually become very successful very quickly? I'm one of those guys that has been extremely blessed by this amazing land, by the American dream. And obviously, when I'm saying the topic is controversial, is because there's a lot of people that do welcome the idea of new immigration, new people coming into this beautiful country. And then there's also a lot of people that are almost resenting, right? They're not happy about how this is coming about. And there's many reasons. As we go through this conversation, we're going to dive into different aspects of that journey. However, today, for the purpose of this conversation, I want to share with you seven reasons as to why immigrants actually become extremely successful in this country. Reason number one, they actually very clear about a problem they need to fix. They actually are coming here because there is a problem somewhere. They're looking for a way to introduce a solution, knowing that where they are, that's not a possibility. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why they're experiencing significant either financial limitations, or in some cases people are going through persecution and a lot of limitations and challenges, is due to the reality of the places they're actually come from. So, again, there's a greater purpose, there's a greater reason, but they're very clear. There is a problem here. That problem more than likely will deal with something that has to do with money. You know what I mean? It's something financial. It's just things are not working out the way they're supposed to. So what everybody knows is that if you go to another country, especially if you come to the United States, remember, there is no such a thing as the Chinese dream or the Cuban dream. It's only the American dream, right? And so you have people that are coming here saying, you know what, here is a problem that it doesn't appear that I'm going to fix it anywhere else. That's reason number one. Reason number two, and I think that this is something that a lot of people can relate to if you go through this process. They actually have a burning desire to come through for someone. It's like a promise or something that they wanted to do. They wanted to prove that they have the capability to not only give purpose to life, right? But at the same time, again, going back to that sequence of steps, right? I'm coming, I know there's a problem to fix, and I want to prove to my family that I'm that person who's going to do it. A husband that has a wife and has a couple of children, they actually walk through a process where they're saying, I want to make sure that my children understand that I did everything in my power to come through for them, that I'm proving to my wife. Just think about that for a second. People that will actually walk away from everything they know, from everyone they love, just to be able to try to come through for them, right? It's a paradoxical reality, right? But when you're thinking about the fact that you want to do something for someone, in order to do it, you got to walk away from them. Not an easy thing to do, but that also becomes a driving factor for a lot of people to do it. Another thing that I want you to consider is that they also have a sense of urgency. Like it's almost like I'm coming here, right? That would be step number three, right? Or reason number three, that they have a sense of urgency. They come here saying, I'm coming to fix a problem. By the way, just so you know, most of the people that come to this country actually come under the idea, I'm going to come, I'm going to work, I'm actually going to make some money, I'm going to see if in the process of doing that, I can save enough money as I'm sending money back home to be able to help other people. But actually, I want to come back home. I want to go. Most people, when they come to this country, they come with the idea that one day they actually will be going back to their country. What happens eventually is a process of real adaptation that will take place more than likely once they become part of the fiber of the country, once they realize the many blessings and the fact that they can actually build a beautiful life here, most people realize that they're absolutely better off being in the country. Obviously, we're talking about people, by the way, I'm not just talking about legal immigration. I'm actually talking about illegal immigration. I'm going to use that term because, like I said, I'm a guy that came into this country, and unless you were coming into the country with me, there's a lot of sensitivities that I'm not okay accepting from people that are having opinions about the immigration process when you know nothing about that whole journey and that whole process, right? So I know that people eventually, it's kind of like realizing, hey, I don't belong there, but I don't belong here yet. Eventually, they got to decide. It's a choice that you have to make to really come to the understanding of where is home for you, right? You literally have to say, when you're saying, I'm going home, it's either you're going to the place you're coming from, or you're actually saying, I'm going home because I'm coming back to United States of America. So it's a phenomenal transition that most people will go through. So they do have a sense of urgency. They want to get everything down. They fear the idea that if I die, if I'm not able to do the things that I said I was going to do, that's something that will be stopping people. So that sense of urgency is there. You see people getting into businesses. They're willing to become entrepreneurs. They actually understand a little more the process. That's a very needed component. That's something that they're gonna need to do in order to make it happen. They start getting into real estate. They're acquiring properties. That all of these things that they do, there's a sense of urgency that goes above and beyond the process that goes for somebody that was actually born here. Reason number 4. I think you can actually relate to this, especially when you look around many of the sites, especially construction sites, right? There's a lot of difficult jobs, and you realize, you say, well, there are some very specific groups, and I want to address a lot of people that come here from Central America, but especially a lot of people that come here from Mexico, right? You're talking about very hard-working people. This is the one thing that you can argue anything you want against this process, or a group of people that are coming in here and potentially taking somebody else's job. There are a lot of valid points in between, right? That I'm willing to concede in a number of them. But the one thing that is not for argument, and is not something that anybody will argue against, is the fact that they are extremely hard workers. They understand, again, if I'm going to introduce a sense of urgency, then I got to come and I got to be willing to do not just what the best people are doing. I got to be willing to do what somebody else is not willing to do. I got to work a little harder. I got to put a few more hours. And when somebody's asking me to show up, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to do whatever is needed so that people understand that I'm willing to earn my position. So they are hard workers. I don't think that's a disputable fact. And here's something that I hope you really get perspective from the next reason why they are. This will be now reason number 5. The reason why they absolutely become extremely successful here is because they absolutely believe in the American dream. This is, and I want to address what everybody calls the fishbowl effect, right? If you were born here, you don't know what it is not to have America, because you always had America. Right? So when we're talking about being born into the country, you can potentially suffer from what they call the fishbowl effect. The fishbowl effect is, the fish is the only guy who doesn't know he's surrounded by water because he's got no perspective. That's exactly what happens when somebody is part of the country. You were born here. You got everything. You got language. You got your papers. You know the layout of the land, and you know how rules and everything absolutely work. And yet you still don't understand that you're already connected to something that is a phenomenal blessing, right? And everybody's going around looking for, man, I'm looking for a blessing. And most of the times you don't realize that you were actually born in one of those blessings, right? Meaning you were born in a country that was already extremely blessed. For that reason, I will tell you, I think that sometimes they absolutely believe in the American dream more than the person that was actually born here, because they are coming here already with that belief that if you can come here, if you can make it here, you can actually make and do something very special. The last 2 points that I want to give you, this is something that I hope is going to challenge your position a little bit, right? Point number 6 is they absolutely have bigger dreams, bigger hopes, and in some cases they are showcasing a larger faith than the person who actually happens to be here and is connected to that perspective, right? But I think that when you go to somewhere new, right, and you have the opportunity to start certain things all over again, you almost get the chance to start dreaming again. What if one day I'm going to build that home for the family. I'm going to make these things happen for somebody. I want to become that person. What if I can own that building? What if I can have this business? You start dreaming again, and that introduces a new strength that comes from having faith, from looking at life full of possibilities, right? We're looking at anything, most of us, somewhere, somehow, as we go through life. I guess after we start taking a few beatings, we kind of stop dreaming at the level that we need to and that we have to. And I'm going to tell you, that is one of the things that immigrants are coming with. It's almost like, okay, I'm resetting. I'm dreaming again. I'm optimistic about the possibilities again. Therefore, my faith is willing to drive me to places that most people are not willing to go. I'm inviting you to literally do an assessment of where your hopes, your dreams, and your faith happens to be when it comes to your own journey in this beautiful country, just because that might be something that can be holding you back. And the final point is something that along the way you learn, because the final point, it says they are willing to make bigger sacrifices, right? This romantic idea that people talk about, people come to this country and they are willing to die here. That sounds very romantic, but the fact of the matter is that on a daily basis, people are coming to this country, they're willing to die. Many of them are dying on a daily basis, going through, crossing borders, crossing rivers, going through environments that are, surrounded by a desert, where people sometimes have to be rescued. That willingness to die for something, for someone, is what separates it from the rest of the group. It's a bigger sacrifice. And everything, even if we go back to the Bible itself, there's every single component is always referring to the fact that if you are willing to make big sacrifices, you are going to be compensated, rewarded according to the sacrifice that's being made. Just think about what it means to walk away from everything and everyone you love, from everything that you understand life to be. And then you're putting yourself through a journey. If you look at all those caravans, all those people that are coming in, that are walking thousands of miles just to be able to get to this land. That's got to give you perspective. It's got to make you think that, am I undervaluing? Am I underappreciated? Do I have a limited vision and perspective about what our country has the capability to do? And if it's doing that much for people that just came into the country, why wouldn't this country do amazing things for you and your family? Listen, like I said, opening up this conversation, the topic is very controversial. The topic is going to absolutely produce very different perspectives. I'm looking forward to hearing your perspective, whether you happen to be an immigrant just coming to the place, or even if you are somebody that don't agree with the process of immigration. I promise you that we also going to make some additional videos addressing the challenges to the country when people continue to come here, some of the benefits, some of the negative things. Today, for the purpose of this conversation, I just wanted to share with you those 7 reasons as to why immigrants become extremely successful here. I hope at least 1 or 2 of those reasons is something that you can take with you and apply. Welcome to our channel. If you like the message that you're hearing right now, please continue to subscribe, like, pass it around, let some people know that we're going to be having this conversation. We are going to be addressing American dream, capitalism. We're going to be talking about literally the process of people being able to improve their position, become successful. We're going to talk about ideas. We're going to open the door so that both sides of those ideas are actually heard, and we can at some point also start bringing some interviews from people that will say, here's my position, whether they are for or against this idea. We hope you become part of this journey, and we promise you that we are going to bring a lot of value in every single conversation that we absolutely have with you. Thank you for watching. We're looking forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, guys.